So episode 2, Winners at War. So today I kind of want to talk about something. I'm going to get into, the notables of this episode and my opinions, but I want to say this first. There are a lot of people out there, because I read a lot of blogs and I listen to interviews and talk to other people who are on other channels that do analysis of the game. And there are a lot of people out there who believe that there's certain winners that deserve the winner title, and there's some that do not deserve the winner title of Survivor, because some people think that there's some people that they didn't do any strategic moves. There are no big moves. They just kind of skated through, and then they ended up winning. But then there are people on the other side that say, well, no, you don't really have to do strategic things. You can just, if you have a really good social game, all you have to do is pretty much keep the target off of you. Don't have your name written down at tribal council, and build really good relationships so people will want to give you the money in the end. And that's how you can win Survivor. And I think that both points are valid. However, I think that this season, Winners at War, I think that it will finally answer that question. The winners that won, because everyone's a winner, did they really deserve that? I mean, I'm not going to say that they didn't deserve it, because if you can make it to the end, in my book, if you can make it to the end and have people vote for you to win, then, you deserve it however you got there. However, are you a good player? Okay, that is the question. And when I'm watching Winners at War, I think it pretty much answers the question, because there are a lot of people who I'm thinking, oh, you're a winner? Well, I'm really confused. Okay, I'm confused about what's going on in their mind, their gameplay, how they're making certain decisions. Okay, and I'm gonna go over some of them today. But first, before all that, I just kind of want to talk about some of the things I take away from this episode. First person I want to talk about, now I know I talked about Boston Rob in the beginning of last video, but I'm going to talk about him again, because this guy is entertaining. Yes, he's very strategic and he's very intimidating. But it's when you think that, okay, he can't surprise you anymore, he surprises you again. He does something else. Okay, so first of all, I want to say at that challenge, if looks could kill, I am telling you, if looks could kill, the look that Boston Rob gave that red tribe, he looked at them like, which one of you blankety blank 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 blanks voted out my wife? Now I'm telling you, he looked angry. And I know what came out of his mouth was, well, Jeff, I understand. It's the game. But that's not the look. His look was not saying that. His body language was not saying that. The look that he gave them was not saying that. That he looked like he was ready to mold them all over with a Mack truck, okay? He looked mad. He looked like, just wait. Don't let me get to a tribe swap. Don't let me get to a tribe swap, because I'm coming for some of you, blankety blank blanks. I'm coming for you. Yeah, that look, whoa, I wouldn't want anybody to give me that look. But I don't know. I'm thinking that Boston Rob is gonna have some things to say to some people. Yeah, if he ever gets to a tribe swap. Okay, my Rob, he pretty much just like as the words of Ethan, okay? Dude, you sucked. What can I say? He really did. Now, Boston Rob, I remember Boston Rob in previous seasons, and Boston Rob was a puzzle genius. He would do puzzles, and he was really good at them. So I am not discounting, and there's one thing, because when they were first starting the puzzle, because they were already coming from behind, but when Rob and Denise first started the puzzle, they had already made up a lot of ground. They started grabbing the pieces and they were putting them together, and they made up a lot of ground, and even Jeff said, oh wow, they've come back, and they made up a lot of ground. But then Rob just starts to outthink himself. And I'm like, wait a minute, Rob, have you ever heard this? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay? How did you make up a lot of ground? By just grabbing the blocks and sticking them in there quickly. So why are you stopping to organize them we're going to put these over here and then these, and then he wants to stop and discuss it with Denise. Yes, I don't know, Rob. If one thing is working, stick with it. You don't have to like change it up. Just if it's not broken. But what can you say? So they ended up losing and everybody looked like, really, Rob? But this is the thing. Rob is still very strong. He has been strong. They only had a couple of challenges so far, but he's been strong at those challenges. So therefore, I don't think that anyone's looking at him like, oh, he's a liability, get rid of him because, we can lose him. No, because he still has been very strong and they still need him if they don't want to keep losing challenges. So anyway, I think in that point that he's fine. But you know what? This is one thing that one mistake that I think that Rob made, and not just Rob, but Parvati and Ethan. Okay. Let me tell you, when you have someone that is as needy, when you have like this needy personality, I mean, I know that last episode, you kind of invited Danny to sit at your to sit at your cool kids table. Okay, but she's a very needy person. When you have someone that's that needy, you can't just keep going off on your own, and you have to like kind of, throw her a bone or something so that she will not feel like she's on the outside, because it's like she needs someone to talk to her. It's like, oh, they're not talking to me. So Parvati, she used to talk to me all the time and now she's not talking to me anymore. I mean, so yeah, I mean, you've got like that personality, those types of personalities that are just they're just needy. They need the attention. You have to keep making them feel like they're part of the group. They're part of the gang. So, going off by yourself is probably not a smart move when you have someone as needy as she is. Now, then Danny, so Danny comes, gotta talk about Danny for a minute. Danny. I don't, where do you begin? Where do you start? Really, do I even really have to say anything? Because if you watch the episode, probably I don't even need to say anything. But Danny. Okay. First of all, this is one of the ones that when I said that there are some people that yes, they deserve the win. They deserve the title of Soul Survivor. But Danny, I don't know. First of all, okay, I get the paranoia because, when you're out there, everybody gets paranoid. I mean, I've heard that from other survivors. Everyone's paranoid. Okay, I get that. Okay, but Danny, it's like she's talking to Ben and Ethan, and she just outs their whole like strategy of old school, new school. Hello, Danny, like Ben is right here. I don't know. It's like she's like so paranoid and so worried that Parvati is not talking to her, that she's just not even thinking, and she's just blabbing and just blew up their whole strategy, which was like terrible. Okay, so maybe I'll even give you this. Maybe I'll even give you that sometimes if you are, if you're a little paranoid, maybe you kind of blab something and you don't realize, oh, this person is right there. Oh my goodness, what did I say? Okay, so you got the one mistake. Okay, but then she goes to Rob and asks him to vote out Parvati. So, okay, let me get this straight. You think you're on the outside. You tell Rob, oh, I know I'm on the outside. Okay, so in your mind, you think you're on the outside. So you're going to go to someone on the inside and ask him to vote out someone who's also on the inside, because that makes a lot of sense. I don't get it. It's like you're going to someone's best friend and talking smack about them. it doesn't make any sense. Maybe she's thinking that because I remember in her season how, and I'm really surprised that I remember this because it's been a really long time and I only watched that season once, but this I do remember. I remember that it was her and Stephanie, and she was trying to get Stephanie's ally out, and I can't even remember the guy's name, but she was trying to get him out. And she went and she told, she wanted to get them to turn against each other, so she went and she told Stephanie that he was talking about her and talking about voting her out, trying to like target her. And then Stephanie was just gullible enough to believe it. But so I'm thinking maybe Danny thought, okay, well, it worked in one season. There was this alliance that was really, really close. And I got one to vote out the other by just asking. And, well, she didn't actually ask. She just put a target on his back saying, oh, he's trying to target you. And then Stephanie just believes her. I mean, come on. She's like on the bottom and Stephanie just believes her, So, but anyway, that's another story. That's why Stephanie's not a winner. Sorry, Stephanie. But that's why Stephanie's not on this show as one of the winners. But it's like it worked in her season. So maybe in her mind, she's thinking, well, it worked once and I got one person to vote out their closest alliance. So maybe I could do it again. But the only difference is that she actually gave Stephanie a reason. At least she told her, oh, she's targeting you. So she was giving Stephanie a reason to believe that that it was in Stephanie's best interest to get out her main ally. Okay, so at least she had that. She's not even doing that with Boston Rob. She's just saying, well, she's not talking to me, and I think I'm on the outs, so I think you should vote out her. I mean, it's like you're not giving Rob a reason to think that we should vote out. Why would Rob vote out his closest ally? You already think they're close because you're talking about how they're leaving you behind. So why would Rob vote out his closest ally? It doesn't make any sense. But Danny. And I've heard a lot of people, because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts where they're doing analysis, and a lot of people are saying that, well, I think it's a mistake for Rob to vote out Danny because that's a number. But, it's not a mistake. And I understand that they're down in their old school count now. I get that. But number one, you cannot, once somebody in your own alliance is targeting someone else in your own alliance, they're trying to break that up. You got to get rid of that person because you can't trust them. And you especially can't trust someone, like you can't tell her anything. If she can sit there in front of Ben and tell him about and just blab about the old school versus new school alliance, you can't give her any information. You can't trust her with it. So she's like worthless as of an alliance member if, number one, you can't trust her because she's targeting your alliance, and number two, you can't trust her because she doesn't even know enough not to like blow your whole game up to the person that's not in. So no, I'm sorry. They did the right thing. Now, yes, they have to like climb out of a hole. I get that. But you couldn't trust Danny. You just couldn't trust her. She had to go because she was just she could have just jumped on the other ship and got everybody else to try to vote for Parvati, and that wasn't on your alliance. And then, like if Rob didn't say, okay, yeah, I'm down with that. If he hadn't said that, then she could just run and try to get like all the rest of the new school people to go and vote out your alliance. And then where are you? No, she's got to go. You have to get rid of her. So that's the way I see it. So I think that was the right move, getting rid of her. Now, I don't know. I'm going to say that was the right move from Boston Rob and Parvati's point of view. Anything. I think it was from their point of view, I think they were right to get rid of her. Now, the other ones, I still don't know why they don't get out Rob. Why are you? I don't get it. This is how good Boston Rob is. He's got Adam. When someone said, brought up Parvati's name, like, oh, would you be willing to vote out Parvati anyway? I mean, he's like, well, I don't know, because, that'll like make Boston Rob mad. He's the godfather. I mean, it's like, Adam, what can Rob do to you if you have the numbers? If you have the numbers to vote him out, he will be gone. He's not coming after you with an Uzi. Okay. So, I mean, if you have the numbers, you can do it. Yeah, he's the Godfather, but I mean, what does he have over you? All he has is trying to be strategic and get people. But if you completely blindside him, if you have the numbers, you completely blindsided, you can make it happen. So, I mean, that's the only thing about Adam, because I think Adam is playing a great game. The only thing is, Adam, you've got, like, you're so scared of Boston Rob until you're scared to even just vote him out right now, because you're just that scared of him. Just because of his reputation, you're scared of it. So, but I think that Adam is actually doing a very good job. Because, I mean, when Denise got the idol, and she's like, maybe I can give it to Parvati. It's like, huh? Adam's like, I think that's a terrible idea. I'm so glad that Adam was so blunt because it's good. And he is smart. And is smarter than Denise because he's like, why would you want to give it to Parvati? Are you tight with Parvati? Are you close with Parvati? Maybe, I mean, in Denise's mind, she's thinking, well, maybe this can, pull Parvati into our alliance. And, like, I don't know what's going on the beach outside of what they show on TV. Maybe Parvati is building that type of relationship with Denise that makes Denise think that, yeah, maybe Parvati and I can get something going. But, it's like, I don't know. I would not, that's not someone that I would be trying to reel in, to my side. So I agree with Adam on that side. Of course, I have information because I'm watching it on TV. So I have information that, she doesn't have, but still, I don't know. I think that Adam was smart, and he is smart. But I just think the funny thing is how nobody trusts Ben. Everybody calls him a wild card. Adam called him a wild card, and Boston Rob called him a wild card. Everybody thinks Ben is a wild card. Now they're keeping him around for the moment, but nobody is trying to get a close alliance with him because they just think that he is you just don't know what he's going to do. He's unpredictable. He's like going here, telling this person this and going there and telling that person this. And now he's helping this person find idols, but he's close with this person. And then he goes to tribal council and he's like, which was brilliant also, the way Rob, Parvati, and Ethan kind of turned it back around on Ben when he tried to tell everyone or kind of out them for like going around and talking, and they're like, everybody's doing it, and everybody's walking around talking to people, and everybody's paranoid, and he's like, well, I went and I talked to you, and I went and talked to you, and they're like, yeah, that's what we're saying. He's like, oh, yeah, what was my point? So they totally turned that around on him, which was ingenious because I just love the way that they just kind of sit, at tribal council. It's like it's just their confidence. Like they just reek of this confidence. Everybody else is just like, not knowing what's going to happen, if the target's going to be on them. And they just kind of sit there, like the cool kids, and they're just so confident, and we're not worried about anything, and I think it's that confidence that is so intimidating. I mean, besides all these other antics that they do, but the confidence is so intimidating. It's intimidating for them. Now, then Boston Rob, of course, the whole idol thing, because another thing is Ben at the tribal council. I have a question. Ben, why did you bring up idols? Like nobody's talking about idols, and then you just kind of bring up idols? Why did you bring up idols? Like no one's even thinking about it. Yeah, Boston Rob said, okay, well, let's see. He's like, well, what about idols? Who has an idol? Now that you bring it up, Ben, who has one? Come on, everybody, let's pour out our bags. And so he gets up and and everyone's like shaking their bags and everything because he brings up why would you do that, Ben? Why would you do that? Why would you bring up an idol when nobody's even thinking about it? You want them to think about the idol so that they'll start being suspicious of people. And Bob was a poker player, so Rob. Rob was a poker player. So for him to, probably he was trying to see, let me see who's gonna not do it, who's gonna protest, or maybe who's gonna like kind of take their time. Because even Jeremy, who's been like this, just observant the whole time. And I'm telling you, that Jeremy is a sleeping giant, because he's just observant. He's trying to stay out of the he's trying to stay out of the limelight. He's trying to make it so that nobody notices that he's even there in the room. He's just staying quiet. He's just waiting. He's like an encroaching tiger. He's just waiting for his opportunity to just pounce. Okay, so he is just there. And even Jeremy started like laughing and smiling when they started getting up and turning over there. That was such a great move. Such a great move. So even though Denise was able to hold her bag and with the idol in there, so it wouldn't fall out, no one can see it. I mean, come on. You know, Rob could probably tell that, you know, Adam was like, well, why do we have to do this? It's probably in the back of Boston Rob's mind. Oh, you're protesting. Why? And also, you know, they didn't have smiles on their faces. Even Jeremy did. Everyone else was kind of laughing like, this is so funny. Yeah, let's turn off our bag. And they're kind of like, okay. So I'm hoping that Boston Rob was paying attention to that and kind of taking a mental note of that. And I hope that he does. And I mean, you know, I like Adam. Denise is all right. She's neither here or there for me. But, you know, Boston Rob is one of my favorites. Boston Rob and Parvati, and even Jeremy is like one of my all-time favorites. So, you know, I'm silently rooting for them. That's what, so I actually really love that move. So now I'm going to go to the other side of the camp, and I'm going to talk about the Red Tribe. And the Red Tribe, on the Red Tribe, first I want to talk about Tony. Now, Tony, I think Tony's a good player. And he and Sarah, I think they're kind of dangerous if they can keep their alliance. But this is the thing. I'm getting kind of tired of Sarah always talking about, well, we had an alliance and you turned against me and you voted me out. Well, Sarah, the same episode, you were gunning for Tony at the same time he was gunning for you. It just so happens that his worked and yours didn't. So get off the, well, you know, you took me out and you betrayed me. No, you were gunning for him the very same episode. So no. But Tony, it's like this guy, it's like he wants to search for an idol. It's like he has to search for an idol. He's talking about, man, I got to do something so I don't search for an idol. I mean, he's like a crack addict. Oh my gosh, I need an idol. Oh, an idol. Maybe I'll go and I'll just, I'll build this ladder and then climb a tree and then almost like fall and break my neck and kill myself because I got to do something to stop from getting an idol. I mean, it's like finding an idol is like crack to this guy, you know? So, I mean, I don't know, Tony, but he's actually doing a good job by not putting that target on his back and by, you know, making people laugh, building this ladder, almost falling off and getting up there and getting the fruit. But, you know, so that's like good. You're putting people in a good mood and they're not thinking that you're a threat because this is what you're doing. So, you know, good for you. But so I think that he's doing a really good job. Miss Kim finds an idol. She finds an idol. And she knows that she has to give the other half of it, the other part of it to someone else. So she chooses Sophie. Now, Sophie's like, girl, you crazy. Why you choose me? I'm the last person you should be choosing. I don't want to work with you. I know how you are. You are like this person that everybody loves. And why would I want to work with that? Because she's not trying to go to the end with Kim. Now, okay, Kim doesn't realize that Sophie feels this way. She's just thinking, well, this is someone maybe around camp that I've talked to and we just seem to have like a good rapport. So she's thinking that maybe Sophie might be a good person. You know, she didn't know it was a mistake, even though it is, but you know, we'll see. Maybe Sophie will come around and change her mind. Who knows? But for right now, Sophie is like not having an alliance with Kim. So I really want to see how that works out. So seeing how most of the stuff that happened, exciting stuff was on the blue tribe. There's not a whole lot to say about the red tribe today, but I will talk about Edge of Extinction and Amber and Nat on Edge of Extinction. Now, they give like this sign, which is, I mean, you read it and it makes no sense at all. And they're reading this like, but really what they don't realize is that it's like some type of acrostic poem with water well is like the first line of the letters of every first line. So they don't realize that, but they're looking at it and they're trying to like decipher it to try to make sense of it. And they realize that, okay, this doesn't make any sense. But it just so happens that Natalie goes to get water anyway. So, and then she finds it, which, you know, is great for her. And then she ends up, of course, sending it along to her pal. So what I'm like just really interested in seeing is who is going to, like, how these little advantages are going to work. Because now Jeremy has this advantage where he can leave tribal council and he can't vote, but then he can't get voted out either. So, you know, so he buys it and he's thinking, oh yeah, Nat's over there, she has my back. So he's thankful to Natalie. But, you know, it's like, I remember they had this advantage last season, and I believe it was it Janet that got it? I believe it was, or who had an opportunity to get it. And she was like, I think this wouldn't be good for me to take it because it's gonna tick off my alliance and it might save me for one vote, but if they're ticked off at me, then it could really hurt me. But you know what? I think that she made the good decision for her for that season, but I think that this is probably gonna be good for Jeremy. And well, I can't wait to see if he actually uses it and how that works out, because, you know, Jeremy is one of my guys. He's actually was the #1 pick when we were doing like kind of a schoolyard pick for our pool, and he was like the first person that I picked. And the other person was like, no, not Jeremy, because they wanted Jeremy. But, you know, Jeremy's my guy. I think Jeremy, he's very, very smart. He's very good socially, and he's just been kind of like staying back, but you can just see how observant he is on his face. He just has that look on his face like, I know what's going on. I'm looking at who's talking to who. I'm looking at body language. I'm looking and I'm just looking. I'm not talking because I'm not trying to have anybody target me. Maybe Danny should have thought of that, you know, stop talking. Danny and Ben, who both have like diarrhea of the mouth, and they have to like say something. So Jeremy knows that, you know what, if you don't talk much, you don't say anything wrong. And that might be a lesson for a lot of people. So anyway, that wraps it up for episode 2. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you know, you can agree or disagree with me. You can let me know down at the bottom. You know, what do you think? Do you agree with some of my analysis, or do you disagree with them? I would love to hear what you think, as long as you're being respectful. Just please be respectful, because we can respectfully agree or disagree on things because they're just opinions anyway, right? So anyway, I will see you next time. If you want to be notified next time my video pops up, you can click subscribe and the ring bell and click like, please. And I will see you next time.